Oh my god.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? We here for another edition of the Corner Entry Podcast. We got yours truly, your boy Tony C. Some people call me Smack like that. And of course, you got the Floridian,
Floridian.
Jamaican zone, Apex Hunting. What's going
Yes,
on,
sir.
bro?
What's up, man? Just trying to figure out this streaming thing. But
Still,
we know how that goes. It's all
yeah.
good. It's all good. We're gonna figure this thing out. But yeah. Nah, I'm here, How's your day going?
It's been going good, you know what I'm saying? It's been raining like crazy or whatever. I ain't expected to rain that much here in the DMV, but it almost flooding. I'm like, what the? Like, first it was like yesterday was like 70, like late, like high 60s. My
Yeah.
young, it was just like 90. Now we going to like, what are we doing? Huh? Like, get the weather together. You think this? I thought they was done with all this, but nah, I still want to play tricks. Mother Nature doing her thing.
I feel you. That's
How
how it
was your
goes.
Father's Day?
My Father's Day was great. I got a chance to sit down and watch racing all day. And I got a really cool gift, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a it was a pretty cool gift.
Care to
I,
share?
I wish I could bring it into the stream and show you, but I don't know if I can really do that. Or at least
Oh,
it'd be kind of hard to.
oh, okay.
But no, my awesome wife got me I don't know if you ever seen Iron Man 2.
Yes, Iron Man's my favorite superhero.
Okay. She got me Iron Man's heart.
Hey Slim, I was
Yeah.
gonna cop that joint so bad. I was gonna put that on the like on the desk or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But once I remodel my streaming area and turn it to my streaming room, I am going to get it where so you it plugs in and glows, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the junk I was gonna cop. Hey, shout out to the wife. Hey, that's
Yeah.
what's up. I wanted one so bad. Like, and I kept contemplating on getting it. I kept contemplating, like, yo, I think I'm gonna cop it. I think I'm gonna cop it, but I never. But not. That's dope, you know. So at least I know when I get mine, I'm like, yo, is it worth getting? Is it gonna mess up? Like,
No, it's pretty cool. It
is it heavy?
not really. It's like a box. I wish I could show you. I don't know how to.
I mean, I've seen them online, so I was just curious to know, like, But yeah,
I'm not gonna.
I definitely. Matter of fact, when I was streaming, I had my intro
Hmm.
before I made the new one was actually the heart or whatever be glowing for the intro.
I'm trying to see if there's a way I could like bring up a picture of it. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Anybody can see my stream.
If
That's
y'all,
right
yeah,
there.
about to say if y'all looking at Apex Hunting stream on Twitch,
Yeah.
it's right there. He's on twitch.tv. Type in Apex Hunting, it's gonna come up.
This thing is so cool.
Hold on, let me matter of
You
fact.
got, you got, you got to see that
I
smack.
gotta see, I got so many tabs open, man. Let me see what we got, you know.
Yeah.
Let me see Apex Hunting, Apex Hunting. Let me go to Apex Hunting, Apex Hunting.
Listen, you should have me on speed dial or whatever that thing is, man.
I don't even know what you're saying, so I don't
How
even.
how dare you not?
Oh yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes indeed, yes
Yeah.
indeed.
So that's pretty
Hey,
cool.
that junk is fire. That junk is
Shout
fire.
out to my awesome wife for that one.
Yeah.
But all right, here we
Let's get
go.
right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So, new track this week, Mexico City, a road course primarily used by F1 and other sports car series. 7,000 miles, sorry, 7,000 feet above sea level, which provided a interesting test for all the cars because when you go up that high, the air is thinner. And as people with sickle cell trait like Smack and I know, when the air is thinner, it's harder to breathe.
Hey, I've been man. Hey,
So, so yeah, it's one of those things when you're up higher, it's less air, so less downforce, less drag. less horsepower created, and less cooling for the engine. So overall, it's harder for the cars. So the draft wasn't as important this week. Um, Brakes were crying because they couldn't get enough air to cool down. The engines were sucking air through a tube, so horsepower wasn't at optimum. It was a kerfluffle for everybody,
A
but
cur
it was
what? A cur what?
a kerfluffle.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? A kerfluffle. Now listen, this is
Yeah.
some engineer talk for you right here.
Oh
A
yeah.
kerfluffle. Can you please tell us what is a kerfluffle? Because I need to
A
know.
kerfluffle is chaos. Chaos at the highest magnitude.
I've
Just
never heard that word a day in my life. Where do you get what in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is that? A kerfluffle. That sounds
um,
like getting something from a store. Yeah, I'll take two kerfluffles. Like that's like a donut joint. You go to
mhm,
the donut spot. I'll take a kerfluffle, please. Two, please.
two kerfluffles. That's how
He's
you feel.
hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got a new word. Kerfluffle. I'm going to use that. Straight chaos. I'm like, so how do you use that in a? So you would basically say, yesterday's race, what the track was a kerfluffle.
Though the race in general, because it's one of those things to where like you just don't have um what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have the what you're used to, you know? Like you don't have any you have less downforce, you have less drag, you have less air going to your motors, so it just basically makes for chaos.
Okay.
Like yesterday's race and Sunday's race, you could tell the drivers were trying to rely on using that draft on that the second longest straight in NASCAR, and they couldn't use that draft to catch up to the other car because the air is thinner, so the car's not making as big a hole in the air, so you just can't really do much with it.
So do you think because of that we had it there was less room for error because it's like with all these things already variables that you have,
Hmm.
it makes less for like a driver error. It's almost like you have to drive perfect because you have all these other elements that you're already dealing with that you can't control.
Uh, I think it did add, you know, add a bit more. Like you can't make as many errors because, like I said, for that long straight, you couldn't rely on the draft to try and keep up, to try and help keep up. You had to really be on your p's and q's. You could know you couldn't abuse your car as much as you wanted to. So it's just one of those things. Like you just you kind of had to take what the track gave you. What you looking for over there?
You gotta forgive me. I got bad feet. This foot massager I'm trying to get going.
It's,
Don't mind me. Hey, I'm old.
yeah, you are. It's okay though. You age like milk.
Oh man. Hey, as long as my wife don't say that I'm good money, she don't smell like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Nah, but no, it was definitely something you had to take. The cars had to take what the track gave them for Saturday and Sunday. It's
Let's
it's
give it
just
Saturday Xfinity series.
yes, the Xfinity series, and that started off pretty interesting. My boy Connor Zilic, the next American phenom, was on pole, and I was happy with that. Right now, he's my favorite Xfinity driver, so I can't complain about that. And then you had two Cup regulars with Ty Gibbs and Chris Bell, C Bell.
Yeah.
They were starting second and third there. And then the hometown boy, Daniel Suarez, starting in
He had to go from the back because he had brake issues.
he had brake issues in qualifying.
Yeah.
So he had brake issues in qualifying, which meant he basically sent his car into a tire barrier. And that obviously wasn't good. Destroyed the car. What a beautiful car that was, that Quaker State um Chevy Camaro they had. It was a nice green and gold Quaker colors. So we had to be resorted to a plain matte black primer black car with this with a little white Quaker State on it.
Hey, they
But
made
yeah,
it happen though.
he
They
started in
made it happen.
last. So yeah, it was so at the beginning of the race it was interesting. A lot of challenges there, but I think it was up to I want to say the first stage, Suarez just started moving his way up through the field. Went from was it mid 30s up to high 20s or to
See what I'm
20th
talking about, right?
quickly.
You see what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, he made his way up through the field, but those JRM cars are fast.
Oh, you got
JRM,
it. They show depth. They be having it. dialed in their garage. You know what I'm saying? I definitely
They do.
feel like they're consistent with contenders, no matter the condition of the tracks or no matter the track. JRM, that's one of my favorites, especially for the Xfinity series. It's one of my favorite teams to root for. One, I'm a Dale Jr. fan,
Mhm.
but also to know that he has the right people, and like from the cars, the driver to the garage to the pit crew, they got it dialed in. That's why I root for them in the Xfinity series. Anytime like of Raj or somebody like that is not in the series on a regular, I'm rooting for JRM hands down.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're a strong team, and you would say their elder statesman, Justin Allgaier, he fell out the race early with some transmission issues.
Yeah, JG, that's
Um,
my hey.
yeah, it was unfortunate to see, but even with that, another one of their another car from their stable, Carson Quapple, he won stage one pretty handily. Obviously going for state playoff points, while their other driver, Connor Zilic, was more worried about getting the win. So it's one of those things you gotta, you gotta try and balance. Am I gonna go for the stage victory and get playoff points, or if my strategy calls for I need to pit beforehand and flip the stage and get my tires. Which I mean,
Yeah.
it's one
I
of those
mean, yeah, it's
things.
just like I don't think like I guess the only people that can consider that right or wrong are Dale Jr. and them. Because as spectators, we can say, oh yes, he should have did this or he should have did that. But whatever, granted, they tell us the strategy after whatever didn't work, right? Because if it
Yeah,
worked, then they say, oh, we said this, but if it didn't work, it's like you just said, hey, should I go for the playoff points or should I get my tires? It
yeah,
depends. So I was like, we can't. We always want to say, oh, well, he did this wrong, he did this wrong, but the only people on is the driver and the team that be like, hey,
yeah,
if it works, we're not going to say nothing about it. If it doesn't work, then we're going to talk about it.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm watching the race eagerly, watching the strategy to see how everything commences. So I mean, Connor Zilic and Ty Gibbs were on a whole different planet that
Man,
race.
it's
It
tough
was
to
it
beat
was
Ty
absolutely
Gibbs.
insane.
We're talking about Ty
Um,
Gibbs on Xfinity and at a road course.
yeah,
You got to put him in your favorites.
yeah. I mean, his first career Xfinity race was his first career victory at the Daytona road course back in 2021. He has what I think 14 victories, and I want to say 9 of them are on the road course. The guy's a machine.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, stage one or stage two was essentially basically the same thing. It was just um, Connor Zilic and Ty Gibbs doing the same thing over, just running away from the field until I guess their closest competitor, Chris Bell.
Yep.
Yeah, he came to issues with 3 laps to go in stage two, and blew the engine sky high. But he made sure to say in his post race interview, I did not money shift. Did not money
Hey,
shift.
because if you money shift, they're going to talk about you.
Oh, they're gonna talk
I've
about you a
done it
lot.
so much on iRacing. Don't worry about that. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into it. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, he made sure to say that, and it was weird because I mean, granted, he did pull off into the beginning of the pits. I thought they were gonna throw a yellow flag, but they just let him sit there. They just let him sit there in the pits.
Weird when they throw these yellows. I don't care if it's a road course. I don't understand when is there a marker? I have to look that up. What time frame from the accident do you throw a caution? Because we've seen times where they threw it and we was like, oh, he got off what I'm saying, the tarmac and all that. He was able to get safely and it didn't impede nothing that was going on with the race, right?
Yeah,
But then there's times where we have NASCAR not throwing a caution, and then they throw the caution. We're like, what did you throw the caution for?
yeah,
And then it's like, oh, well, why didn't you throw the caution? That's why some people think, oh, it's rigged. They should have especially when they go into all these overtimes and stuff like that. They're like, oh, they should have let that go. Or no, they shouldn't have let that go. And
hmm
so it's just like, I don't know what it is with NASCAR and when they're throwing the cautions.
yeah. I mean, I guess with the Christopher Bell situation, he was already kind of out of the way. He was basically in the pits already before pit stall number one, so he wasn't really in harm's danger because the way the pits worked is he was already kind of past the pit wall entry. So at that point, it was like, he might as well, or we might as well just let this fly. Well, there's 3 laps to go in the stage. Why do we need to throw a caution and kind of ruin the end of the stage? So I mean, I get it in a way.
yeah, I get. Yeah, it's just weird. We always people as us who've been watching NASCAR for a long time. It's always that question: when is it okay to throw a caution? And when, and I guess it also depends on who your favorite driver is and who you're rooting for that day.
Yeah,
Because
who's gonna screw
obviously you
over?
like throw the caution, throw the caution. But if
Yeah,
my guy's winning, they ain't trying to
yeah,
start and all right, everybody line back up. No, don't throw the caution. Don't throw the caution. So it's
yeah,
like, hey, you give and you take with that. Hey, but that let's get into this third stage. Third stage.
yeah. The third stage was insanely aggressive. Before that, another JRM win for stage two. Sammy Smith again, or this time. So JRM's killing first stage, stage one, stage two, leading almost every lap. But yeah, stage three was insanity, absolutely insanity. I wish we had a way we could show that restart incident where you had Suarez, Zilich, and Gibbs all
I'd
just
be
making
mad because I
contact.
can't put nothing. I can't. NASCAR gets me for the slight. I mean to tell you,
if
they
I
get
had
me for the slightest video.
if I had some kind of toy cars, basically just three cars. I only have two hands, but three cars going into one spot. It's not gonna work.
Everybody said, "Hey, the spot is there." I don't know. I didn't listen to the replay of what the spotters might have told these three cars or what, but all of them was like, "That's their spot."
I mean, okay, so you had Suarez on the outside, Gibbs in the middle, and Zilich on the inside. Zilich was doing his best to try and hold it tight and hit that apex as tightly as possible, you know? And in those conditions, I mean, you're gonna do the best you can to do it, but it's one of those things that they always say three can't go into one. So Zilich bounces into Gibbs and bounces into Suarez, and Suarez, I guess, came off easily in that one because there was chaos. I want to say, well, how many cars was it that got collected in that crash? It was a lot.
It was
It was an insane amount, and Zilich fell back to 25th place after fighting for the lead with a damaged car. Um, did you say you saw his car after that accident? They cut off basically like the fenders right behind the tire just to give him some clearance to turn the wheels without rubbing. I'm like, this guy's
things.
not.
Hey, the things that the crew chief and them figure out to do. Because
Mhm.
I mean, what is it, about 2 or 3 years ago, right? And I'm sure this is just the most recent time I remember that I can think of, like it happened yesterday when
Yeah.
Kyle Busch, it was the red Skittles car, and he was like, "I'm not driving that." Like, I'm not. You can drive it, but I'm not driving. He literally told them that, and so they just stopped the race because. Now, granted, was it drivable? They didn't. They said it was. I guess they didn't say it was total loss, but it was but it was mangled, and he was like, "I'm not driving it."
What year was this?
Probably about 2 years ago, right before, because he was still with JG. He's still with Joe Gibbs Racing. He's still with
Mhm.
JGR. So, but it was the red when he started driving that red Skittles car.
Yeah.
So about 2.5 years ago, it was. I can't remember the track. I don't know if it was a road course
Yeah.
or a drafting track, something like that. And he was like, "Not driving it." I'm like, no, I'm not driving it.
I mean, you have these races, where sometimes the guys aren't gonna they're not gonna want to drive, damaged cars, and there's other times where you have cars like Mark Martin's car. They had that famous picture to where basically the whole front of the car, the whole front clip was gone. You just had engine and wheels, and then you had like a piece of steel on the left side with those white markers they put use
Yeah,
in cars. Yeah, it just said the number six on it. You got people who drive the cars like that. You have people who they just
yeah.
it's
I
like
don't knock either one who chooses because at the end of the day, they gotta be the one to be comfortable enough to drive it.
yeah,
And I
you want
mean,
to log laps
obviously,
for points. Kyle Busch, I guess, realized it was an Xfinity. No, it was not Xfinity. He was in the Cup race. I
yeah,
guess I guess didn't feel like it was worth his time or the points.
yeah,
Maybe he's out of contention, just didn't care at that point. So
yes.
that's what happens when you have this playoff system. If you know you're out, and you can't win, then what's the point?
Let's get
So,
to how, like you spoke on,
hmm
hometown hero.
yeah, yeah, Daniel Suarez won. This man won in a backup car. It was, I
Started
mean,
from the back too. Started
granted,
from the back.
granted, granted, his closest rivals were damaged. So I've got to tip my cap again to my favorite driver, whatever it is. Connor Zilich went from 25th to 8th in 5 laps, and I was like, oh, he's about to catch Daniel. This is about to be a wrap. But he got up to 5th and overcooked it, and Daniel just drove a great race, and I mean, yeah, you had Taylor Gray right behind Daniel in those closing laps, and Taylor was like, I can't send this guy, ship this guy in a corner because I'm not gonna be able to leave this track. you know,
Right.
could you imagine if the 54 would have turned Daniel for the win?
Hey yo, certain things you got to know. If he would have turned Suarez for the win, it's
Yeah,
just certain things you got to know. It's almost like, right, if you're in Detroit, right,
yeah,
and you choose to show off, and you do a dirty play, you gotta be ready for what happens after.
yeah.
Be ready
Oh,
for. No one's saying bend the knee, whatever they call it, but understand. They're gonna look at that as dirty. You might say it's racing hard. You're in that man's town,
mm-hmm.
his country. Forget town. We're talking about his country, where
Yeah,
he had
the whole crowd,
the
everybody behind
whole
him.
crowd roaring for him from when he went for the intro,
Yeah, yeah,
and for him to rally back and for that to happen.
yeah,
No, 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 no.
yeah. He was a really strong driver, and I guess out of circumstances, I mean, he probably could have finished, P3 on the day had not because
Yeah,
I mean he was a pretty strong car, and it's come down to circumstances. He did what he needed to do. So shout out to him in a backup car. He did pretty well, and the crazy part about it is he did all that with braking issues. I don't know if you caught that. He complained about braking issues at the beginning of the race.
yeah.
From the first stage, he had a long pedal, and a long pedal at a track like that, it can be scary. But he managed to muscle that car around for all those laps and get the job done and get that win. So again, like we said, JRM cars. He doesn't drive for JRM in the Cup, but he came over and used the Junior Motorsport car in Xfinity and won the race.
They
Those
figured it out.
cars are strong,
They
and
figured it
this
out.
Trackhouse Junior Motorsports alliance this year is pretty damn awesome.
Definitely is. Shout out to Suarez getting the win at home in Xfinity series. Let's get on over to the Cup series because hey, that's a whole nother thing right there.
Hey, so like I was saying, Trackhouse, the common denominator between this. You got a Trackhouse driver win the Xfinity race, Trackhouse driver on pole. And I have been saying, you can ask my friends for, I want to say back in maybe 2021, 2022, when these cars first came out. I said, NASCAR needs to get a V8 supercar driver into their cars because they have the same amount of raw horsepower, no ABS, no trash control, sequential gearboxes. I just something told me before V8 supercar drivers would do well in NASCAR. Cue up Shane Van Gisbergen. Came over here in his first race, Chicago, 2023, mollywopped the field. You know,
Yes. Is he
so
a cheat code?
this man's a cheek, and then. He goes does your Xfinity to get his American not stock car legs wet, and now he's full time in Cup, and this is I think the second road course, yeah, second road course of the year. He did pretty well in the first one. I don't think he won Coda, but
He did win
with
the
this
code.
stream of road courses coming up, you know,
He's got a chance to mark another one on that.
just like on 2023, brand new track, no one's seen it before. So what's he do? Puts it on pole, and he does it while fighting a sickness. Man had the bubble guts while driving. Like insane,
I
insane.
mean,
he said it he said it on the broadcast too. But no, it was great. And the fact that they had rain at the beginning of the race too, I love the fact that NASCAR now does rain has rain tires
I
because
like it. I do like it, especially for the
mhm,
a road course. I mean, I guess it gives people that real supercar feel because that's what they do with the open wheel and supercars.
yeah,
So obviously NASCAR has to branch out in order to compete.
road courses and short tracks, but you have the best drivers in the world. You can't at least on the big ovals, yes, for signs scientific purposes, I understand why you can't run these cars on ovals on bigger ovals in the rain, but short tracks and road courses, you got to be able to run it, and that's what they started doing. Thank God. My only gripe, I will say, is I don't like the fact they throw the caution when it starts to rain, because every other series when it rains, it's like they give the drivers, the opportunity to switch tires when they feel like it. If you want
Well,
to
I
gamble,
think they'll start to implement that. I just think because they're not used to it. It's just like they still have to go into
mm,
it like it's normal. It's not normal for them. That's why I think they throw the caution.
I get that. I mean, I'm hoping that's the case. Maybe later this season or next year when you have a rain race, don't throw the caution. Leave it into the driver and the crew chief's hands to figure out when they're going to come in, because
You
you
know
need to
what
leave
comes
that to
up next?
strategy.
Somebody then says, "Oh, well, I didn't understand the rules," and so then
That's
it
your
has
fault.
to. Yeah, you're
That's
right. You're right. But we
that's
always say that. Oh, I wasn't understanding that because of these wets that I had to stay with these or these dries or then go switch to wets.
that's on the crew chief to figure out. That's on the driver to understand. But no, that can't be an excuse. You're gonna have to figure that out. Like when it starts raining, if you guys have your radar system or you have whatever app you use, look at that app. If it's gonna rain for 10 minutes, then don't throw a caution. Period. Was it rain for 10 minutes? Should we gamble and stay out on these dries, or should we switch onto these wets for this little bit amount of time? When you throw that caution, you bunch everybody back up. I don't know if it's for the show or if it's just because, but I think that they should eventually kind of get away with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely
So
get that. Let's
yeah,
get into how uh this race went.
yeah, SVG and the common denominator from yesterday also. Ty Gibbs again. Ty
Yes,
Gibbs
man.
strong.
I told you. Regardless, we was talking about this for the past 2 episodes. Ty Gibbs is right there.
He
He's
is.
right there. He's
He's
right
right
there.
there. He is right there. He's a little overly aggressive for my taste, but I
I
mean,
think he feel like he has. I don't know what he's thinking, right? But at the same time, he's what's this his second or
third
second year,
season. This was
third
his
season.
this is his third season. This was his 102nd race,
So yeah, he
something like
feels
that.
more comfortable. He raced the day before.
Yeah,
He probably felt like he knows the track. Granted, it's two separate cars, right? And we've established that the Xfinity is the driver car, right?
yeah,
Like you really gotta wheel it. It's on you. This
yeah,
car, not saying it's not on you, but it's not as much as the Xfinity car. So when we have that going on, I just think Ty Gibbs has always been that guy where he's like he's going to be aggressive, right? Some people didn't like it in Xfinity, and the same Mayer had that issue with that. So I just feel like um he's on a road course. He did well the day before. He's still young. It's his third season. He feels like he's knocking at the door. You know how you get impatient after a while, like you knocking and you know the person coming, but you're like, come on, let me in this mother. Hurry up. So he probably started banging on the door, like, all right, now I'm really about to be aggressive because he probably he probably feels like he needs that win. You know what I'm saying? Like I need it. I'm right there. I'm right there. It's mine for the taking. So I'm cool with him being aggressive. That's what I feel everybody. Hey, what they say, long as they talking about him, right? So it's
I
like,
mean,
regardless, you might not like him, but the boy got talent and he's gonna be aggressive. That's what's kept him in the spotlight.
yeah.
And what got him the ride that he got. Granted, his grandfather owns the team, but still,
He still has the talent.
He's not one of these guys that you can just say, oh, he only got a ride because his grandfather
Yeah.
owns the team.
No,
No,
no.
he
He
probably
he.
got a shot because his grandfather owned the team. But his
Yeah.
talent
Yeah.
keeps him there.
His talent does keep him there. I just think he's being a little Verstappen 2021 ish when it comes to his aggression. But the kid is due. He's gonna get his win eventually. Um, Stay in the Toyota camp. I know we talked about how much we like 2311.
Of course.
But they always talk about the two drivers in 2311, always forgetting about Mr. 35, Riley Herbst, highest qualifying 2311 driver that race.
Shout out to
So
Riley Herbst,
shout
definitely.
out to yeah, he's always forgotten. So shout out to him.
I mean, it's easy to be over when you got Bubba and Tyler Reddick and
Yeah,
Denny Hamlin. Granted, Denny Hamlin still runs for Joe Gibbs, but obviously that's
yeah.
the owner. So you're going to, I mean, his time is coming too. Riley Herbst is a decent driver too, so his time is coming.
Let
His time.
me let me ask you. Um, Your thoughts on the Kyle Busch accident?
I feel bad for Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
Having a great run at it.
he's not,
He just got re-signed to RCR
which is
for an
good.
extension, which
Which
is
is good.
good.
You know, he's still
But
he can still
I,
drive.
yes, he can still drive. Right, we're
Hmm.
still going to say that. I mean, he's Kyle Busch. He's a Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
Hall of Famer,
yeah.
right? So already he can stop. He can retire tomorrow, and he's a Hall of Famer,
Oh
hands
yeah,
down. But right now, he hasn't. I don't know. I don't know if it's something mentally going on where he's in his own way. Is it the equipment? I don't think it's the equipment because they're competing at times, but then he's competing until he's not competing.
he's competing at times. His teammates not competing, so he might be trying to drag up the organization.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. I want to see Kyle Busch be back to the old Kyle Busch, but I don't know. I don't know. That was a really uncharacteristic spin, and he pinballed and took out so many cars.
Oh my gosh. I was
But
like, I'm sitting there eating cookout food. And I said, oh,
I said the
I'm
same
watching it on
thing.
my phone.
Yeah, because I mean, he hit Kyle Larson. I think he hit like I
Was it
want to say
Larson?
four
He was
cars,
like 3 or 4 cars.
like
Yes.
3 or 4 cars, and then he also had Zane Smith coming in behind him to clean everybody else up too. So it was like 6 cars in that incident,
Yeah.
and it was insane. I
It
don't
sucks
know.
for Kyle Busch right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, he probably feel like it sucks to be Kyle Busch right now. Not saying that him as the family guy and all. I'm talking about as the race car driver and not performing at the level that we all know he can do. Right?
yeah,
It's just not a great time for him right now.
yeah.
And they got to figure it out.
So I
I
guess
don't know if it's gonna happen this season. I mean, we're at the midway part probably. So
I don't think it's gonna happen this season. I don't. I mean, Kyle might be able to get a couple top fives, but I don't see a win coming for him this season, unless it's coming up in Atlanta
yeah, I was
or
about to say maybe
Daytona
Super Speedway.
yeah, Super Speedway is probably the only way I could see him getting a win this season. I don't
Yeah,
know.
those I agree with that. I don't see it on anything else but Super Speedway.
Yeah, but with that being said, stage one was all about SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Ty Gibbs again. And just like I said yesterday with Connor Zilic and Ty Gibbs, they were going for the win, not for stage points. So they decided to pit and worry about getting their tires and their fuel. So Ryan Preece takes stage one after qualifying second, the fastest RFK car out there. And that man got a new lease on life signing with RFK this offseason after SHR shut down.
Yeah, so
So, oh, and sorry when I'm saying RFK is
Roush
Roush Fenway
Fenway.
Keselowski. Racing used to be old Roush Racing, and then all this other stuff happened. SHR was Stewart Haas Racing, which was Tony Stewart's old team, but they closed down. Like I said, so Tony Stewart's team closed down. Ryan Priest went over to Roush, Fenway, Keselowski. So we're gonna just use that acronyms because this is way too much to say. But yeah, so Priest in the 60 car gets a stage one win. So shout out to him. He's
Definitely like to see Ryan Priest getting notoriety for other
yeah,
things other than the way his car has looked at certain speedways.
upside down.
Yeah, so very
Yeah.
happy that he's able to be in this media and we're speaking about him other than a horrific crash he's been in back to back years. So definitely happy to see. I mean, he can compete, so definitely happy to see that for that man and
Mhm.
to get a win. I mean, excuse me, to get a stage win
Yeah.
at a new track
Yeah. That's
because
for sure.
RFK competes.
Yeah, well, Chris Buescher competes and Ryan Priest competes at times. Brad Keselowski is
I mean, he'll give you that one. He'll give you that one.
he has ups and downs, more downs and ups, and I mean that's just one of the things he does right now. I think he might retire next couple years
I don't be
because
surprised. I mean,
he's not competitive anymore.
then
So
you gotta then some people say, oh, he gets a win. I mean, he got a win last year, and
that was a lucky win. He got a lucky win because what's the name? What is the guy's name? I can't remember them now. The 45, my
yep, Tyler
boy
Reddick,
Tyler Reddick. Thank you.
and
One of
he
my
was
favorite
mad at
drivers.
Chris. Yeah, Chris
Tyler Reddick
Busher
and Chris
and Chris
Buescher
Busher
came
had that
together.
issue. Yep,
That's the only
and
reason
that's
why
when Chris
Brad
Busher spoke
Keselowski
to him,
won.
said, "I don't have one of those." I
Yeah.
don't have that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yes, he might have lucked into a win, sure, but
Hey,
he
it's a
hasn't
good
had a
win.
dominant car.
Go give
Yeah,
me
I
that American
guess.
flag. Hey, that's what that man gonna say. He gets that American flag and he does his donuts.
You know what's funny is I used to be a big fan of Brad Keselowski when he was driving for JRM
Mm.
back in the day, and then he got to Cup, and I was just like, I don't like this dude. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is about he rubs me the wrong way, but it is what it is, you know. But moving on to stage two, the Cup race was rinse and repeat. SVG and Ty Gibbs basically just running away from the field. It wasn't much going on there. The track started drying, and the drivers just threw on dry tires during the stage break. Other than that, there wasn't much going on because it was just becoming more and more evident that they couldn't use the draft
Yep.
to catch up to each other. So they had to try and outmaneuver, outdrive each other, late break each other. Sometimes get a little physical,
Which I
but
mean, to me, I think that adds more to the race, right? Obviously,
it does. But I mean, you would like to have all of your tools, you
yeah,
know
of course, especially when you're used to doing that. And
exactly.
like this is an inaugural race for them, right?
Yeah,
So it's like when you have that, some people just get it. And like SVG and Ty Gibbs were able to figure it out. Those are the two that
yeah,
have been in the Cup Series full time, the least amount to what 90% of the Cup people.
yeah. They haven't been in
Yeah,
that
Ty's
long.
only three, and this is SVG's first year
Yeah,
full
he's
time as
technically
a
a
Cup.
rookie. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like
he is.
for them to figure it out.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't knock them for it.
And you know what's funny is the last three brand new road courses that NASCAR has introduced. It's rained in the first race.
That is true.
It raced Dakota.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, it rained Dakota. It rained at Chicago,
Chicago. Yeah,
and it
Chicago
rained
was
at
nasty.
Chicago. Yeah, Chicago, and that's the one SVG won.
Yep.
And then who won at Coda? My boy Chase. You know what I'm saying? I know how to pick good drivers, but granted, we'll move on from that one. But no, stage three, was a what's the word I'm looking for? Stage three was a waxing, for lack of a better term.
Mm.
SVG just flat out dominated. Ty Gibbs got into an incident, and no, it wasn't an incident. I'm sorry. Ty Gibbs got caught out by that caution.
Yes.
Ty Gibbs got caught out by that caution, which messed up his strategy. And let me ask you what you think about that. The caution that shafted Gibbs. You know what I'm talking about? Hocevar into Stenhouse Jr.
Yes. The two that hey, we gonna get to them. I, I, I
Let's
need
get to
about
him
two. I
now.
need I need about 2 minutes, but we gonna
Let's
we
get
gonna get back to them.
nah. Let's get to him now. Let's go. What's up? What's up?
Hey, what I got to say about that? I'm gonna tell you what I got to say about these two. Okay, these two right here.
Uh huh.
These two right here. I'm gonna just like I say, like me and my man's. You know what I'm saying? This is what me and my man's be saying from the area, right? My man Ricky need his 5 minutes. He need his 5 minutes from Carson. I read on Twitter, right, or X, earlier today. Somebody said so because there was some controversy, and some people didn't like what Hocevar said why he was streaming. I think he was in the hall or something doing his stream for Twitch. He does stream on Twitch. I do follow him on
Oh,
Twitch.
about Mexico?
Yes,
Yeah. He
he
was
spoke from a no brain type,
he put his foot in his mouth
a person
heavily.
who doesn't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand being in those certain areas and moving when you've been to other countries that not like America
Mhm.
or not better than America when it comes to level of money and
Mhm.
currency, you
Mhm.
got to move a certain way for protection, right? And for
Mhm.
safety reasons. So no, you're not going to be able to move like you want to move. But hey, for this young guy to know afterwards, regardless, he said what he said, but he was willing to take accountability at his young age and realize I'm a guy from Michigan that talked like the guy from Michigan that's never been nowhere. I
Yeah.
should have,
Exactly.
realized what was going on. And he'll do better for He'll learn from it and move from it.
Yeah.
But what did Ricky Stenhouse say?
I respect that Carson owned up to two things there. He owned up to putting his foot in his mouth, about Mexico. Like when you can't be all ignorant and act like, I mean, yes, America's great. You can't act like America's, the greatest place ever. You can't go see everywhere else. You can't go based off what the media says. You need to go check some places for yourself. And he noticed Mexico was way more beautiful than I thought it was. This was a way better time than I thought it was. But with that being said, he accidentally hit Ricky there, but
Yeah,
it's
but it's
he's hit him in.
happening too. It's happening
It's
too
oh
much.
yeah, oh no, it's
So,
happened
like I was saying
way
with
much. Yeah.
X,
Hmm.
they said, and he said, I need to also stay in Mexico so Ricky don't,
Yeah, Ricky.
because
Oh yeah,
obviously those who don't get out, right?
yeah.
You don't want to have those who don't travel abroad and don't travel that often.
Hmm.
If you get in an altercation in another country, it's a difference
Yeah.
than when you're in a citizen in the United States. That's proven fact. So people don't do the same things or move the same way. So do I think that stopped Ricky from doing what he's doing? I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he thought twice, because he's like, I'm over here in Mexico. I'm not trying to fight this man in Mexico. But if we was in the States,
Oh, you're
I'm
throwing hands.
I'm about 80% sure, like they said on X, the person said, hey, if you see Ricky with the tan khaki shorts on,
It's
you
on
know,
site.
hey,
It's
my
on
man got the
site.
hat turned back
Yeah.
and ready for the action. So I think he do
Yeah.
need his 5 minutes from Carson, or at least that's how he's gonna feel. Do I think
Yeah.
they should have that 5 minutes? I mean, I don't know yet. I don't think it's gotten to me. I don't think it's gotten to that level yet where
I,
it's like, okay, I need to see you at the hall or something like that.
I don't think it's gotten. I don't think
Because
it'll get to
Carson
that
is
point
not really
now.
saying nothing back, like to keep it fueling. The only thing that keeps it fueling, they keep
Hmm.
getting in accidents.
I don't think it's gonna get to that point now because Carson straight up apologized this
That's
time
not.
when Ricky
I mean, he
when Ricky
apologized
came.
last time.
He didn't apologize last time. He half apologized last time. He was kind of like, yeah, I did it, but whatever. This time he was straight up like, no, I messed up. I'm my bad. I really because you can see he was trying to break. He didn't mean to turn Ricky. There was a lot going on there. He just happened to hit Ricky at that point. It was
You know,
unfortunate.
Ricky don't be playing.
It was unfortunate, but that just is one of those things that happen. And the crazy part about it is that wasn't even the caution. He spun then, and they both got going, and the host of ours spun again by himself, exiting the stadium and then stalled his car,
Yeah,
which is the caution that messed
Ty
up
Gibbs. Yep.
Ty Gibbs' strategy because SVG had pitted right before then. And Ty Gibbs like, let me stay a little bit longer, let's keep going and then see how things go.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just messed up his strategy. And then he fell back to 20 something place. He fell back to 20 something place. And he was able to move his way up, I think, to like eighth. And then he just stalled. And he just stalled the
And
rest of the way.
because he stalled, who ends up winning the race?
My boy. Shane Van Gisbergen of New Zealand. Yeah, that man right there. The V8 supercar
He
champion?
was in 30th place, ladies and gentlemen, in points.
33rd. 33rd in points. This how do you feel about the playoff system?
I don't. I can't speak on that, right? I don't think I have enough skin in the game to speak on. Granted, like I said, I've been a NASCAR fan my whole entire life. I like recently in the past 5 to 7 years, I really started watching every race.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, I feel like I'm cool with it, but I
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
why people don't like it. Like, granted, from F1 perspective, all right, if you're the fastest person, you should win, right?
Mhm.
But with NASCAR, so many more variables. You got
Yeah.
this playoff points thing. A guy who's 33rd,
Mhm.
he has not been performing well.
He's gotten better.
No,
He
he's
he's been
progressing.
improving. He's been
But
improving.
should he get automatically into the playoffs because he won a race?
I think it was last year or 2 years ago, they had it to where you had to be in the top 30 to make it to the playoffs, win or not win.
Now, I agree with that.
Right.
So yes, I understand like what they say, the top 15, 16, that little bubble area
Yeah,
for the
yeah, the
playoff thing.
playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. I like that. But if you gotta be in the top 20, to me, 2025, I might even say 30. But if you 30 and you go into the playoffs, champ, listen here. Every dog had a day. Because
he's
if it's
in
a
a
Daygo race or a Daytona, it's a crapshoot, right?
yeah.
So it's like, because I
I
got wrecked
mean,
on the trioval, the other guy who has not performed well gets the dub, and now he's going to the playoffs.
Harrison Burton last year.
My
Harrison
point
Burton was
exactly.
34th last year when he
My
won
point
Daytona.
exactly. My point exactly.
So
No
I
disrespect to these drivers, neither.
no, 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 no,
We're
no,
just
no, not
talking
at
about the
all.
system.
I like Harrison Burton. SVG is one of my favorite drivers. I still do think it should be at least. I think it should be the top 30. That should be able to make it into the playoffs with a win. Um, I mean, granted, there are two more road courses coming up and a drafting track, two more drafting tracks. SVG has time to move his way up in points. He's not even that far behind right now. So I mean, when it's all said and done, he could probably make that top 30 anyways. But the
Okay,
way the
and then
playoffs are right
then
now,
I
who
think
who cares?
that's how they should do it. Okay, you won, right?
Hmm.
Cool. We're gonna put this little asterisk right there next to that. We'll erase that asterisk. You get your points up.
Exactly. I get that. I get that 1,000%. And SVG almost had some company. My boy Chase Elliott uh
Quietly still doing his thing.
move
He just
quietly.
quietly,
And
hey,
the problem about it is
I'm just getting my points. Don't worry about it.
everybody
Don't worry
keeps
about it.
saying like I told you, I saw this meme before. Who is doing the least with the most this season? And keep talking on Chase Elliott's name. The man is fourth in points based on like just straight points. He's fourth in points right now behind um his teammate because William Byron is on a whole nother level right now. I think
Dog.
what's his name? Chris Bell, and I want to say Kyle Larson.
Mm-hmm.
So he's third. He's third out of the four Hendrick drivers, but he's fourth in points. And the man came back from I want to say it was like 17th place up to third on that last restart.
I mean, you can't forget Chase Elliott is a road. Does this on the
He
road course.
has the third most wins on a road course in NASCAR history. He did that in his first 3 seasons, 7 wins. That man was on a trajectory to be the road course king until they switched his car.
Do you consider
So
SVG a road course king?
I mean, he has a potential to because, like I said before, get a V8 supercar guy into these damn cars, and he's proving my point. It's his second win. It's it's his second road course win in these cars. So I mean, I got to give him credit. I'm happy my drivers. I don't know where your drivers set, but I wrote down where my drivers finish. We got SVG P1, got Chase Elliott P2, Bubba with a strong P12. Happy on that
Yes.
one. Strong P12 from Bubba. Ryan Blaney P14. I mean,
I mean, still
I got
both of mine top 15. So I
yeah,
was okay with that. Bubba, uh, you gotta know your drivers, right?
yeah.
I would like to see Bubba get, what I'm saying, but hey, he's
He's
racing well. He's doing a lot better with
he's
these
doing
road courses
so much
than
better.
2 years ago, than 3 years ago. He's getting it.
Wasn't it like wasn't I think it was this season or last season he qualified second on a road course.
Yes. I
And I
think it
was
was.
like, Bubba is killing it. So, but Trackhouse Racing is strong. You had Hocevar, not Hocevar. I'm sorry. You had Chastain winning the Coke 600. You got SVG out here winning the race in Mexico. Daniel Suarez is always a threat. He seemed to be doing pretty well um, in this race up until I guess the latter stages.
Mhm.
So the Trackhouse umbrella is looking pretty strong. And Connor Zilic is part of that Trackhouse umbrella as a reserve driver. These boys set up for a hot minute. I still think Connor Zilic should take his talents to F1 or something like that. But
We gonna
it's
see,
okay.
but
But not chase that NASCAR money, Connor.
next week
Next week, what do we got next week?
we are going to hold on, because I literally just had a
You just had a brain what?
brain fart.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we're going to. to what I thought we were going to.
Oh, Pocono.
Pocono. We are going to
Yes, the tricky
Pocono,
triangle.
which some people don't like and some people do like. That is
I
a
like that
50-50
track.
track for people.
I like
You
that
know,
track.
it's so Cup Series,
Mhm.
2 p.m. Sunday. Xfinity Series, they will be also at Pocono, but they'll be on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mhm. And
And the next one is trucks. I can't wait for that one. It's gonna be an early one. It's gonna be 5 o'clock
yep, Friday.
on Friday, this coming
Yep.
Friday, 5 p.m. So we'll be covering all of those for next week. So
Yes,
we
we
got
will.
all at Pocono from Friday to Sunday.
Yes,
Y'all
we
make
will.
sure y'all follow Apex Hunting on Twitch. He's on there right now. Y'all follow him on Instagram. Y'all follow him on YouTube. Do the same for me on
Yep.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that smack like that. This is the end of our NASCAR series for episode, and we're going to be hopping straight into our open wheel sports car racing. So y'all make sure y'all come check us out. Smack like that.
Appreciate everybody, all my NASCAR fans. Hey, like Smack said, you want to stick around? We back in a couple minutes. Open wheels and sports car. We got a lot to talk about with Lamar, IndyCar, and F1. So stick around. We got some good stuff here. If not, take care. Talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
Deuces.
Later, later.